of our wrongdoings that we have done knowingly and unknowingly. And it's because of our prayers, he hears our cry. And out of his love for us, he has been beneficent and merciful to us. As our opening prayer states, I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. And protect me from all of my faults. For none can protect me from all of my faults but thee, and guide me to the best of morals, for none guides to the best of morals but thee. As Holy Quran 2:186 states, and when my servants ask thee concerning me, surely I am nigh. I answer the prayer of the suppliant when he calls on me, so they should hear my call and believe in me, and they may walk in the right way. These words from Allah are like a father who, out of love and concern, hears the cries of his children, and he comes offering security and protection. The Father fixes the problem and provides the need. And in return, all the Father asks is that we, the children, hear his call, believe in him, that he is near to us and that he has not left us, and obey him. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan are the manifestations of Allah's mercy and beneficence to us today. They are here to teach us and to guide us on that straight path to Allah. They are here out of the love of our Savior. In this dark and chaotic time of this world, it is a time to connect with Allah. It is a time for us to seek Allah's mercy, seek Allah's beneficence, and seek refuge in Allah from the evil within ourselves and from the evil of this world. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan states, why should I or you seek refuge in Allah God? It is because he is the beneficent, he is the merciful, and he is the most merciful of those who have mercy. He is the oft forgiving and the only one who has the power to remove from us the consequences of our actions. Holy Quran 64:13 states, Allah, there is no God but he, and on Allah let the believers rely. So, my brothers and sisters, believe in Allah, keep your duty to Allah, and let us make Allah sufficient for us, and in return, he will bestow upon us, like a loving father, his beneficence and his mercy, which is his love. And to take us further into this program, I'd like to welcome another student in the ministry class, Sister Zayana Muhammad. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I'd like to greet you all in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. I want to start off by thanking the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his National Assistant, Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad, for this great opportunity to speak before you this morning. As we heard earlier, there's a verse in the Bible, Revelations chapter 3, verse 20 through 22, where Jesus says, quote, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and dine with him, and he with me. To him who overcomes, I will grant to sit with me on my throne, as I also overcame and sat down with my Father on his throne. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says, end quote. When we hear, I will knock at the door, we know that Jesus isn't actually going to visit all who believe in him. So if this is the case, if Jesus isn't actually going to knock on all of our house doors, we can then infer that this verse must have a deeper meaning. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan explained this verse by stating, quote, "The Messiah or Mahdi is the embodiment of wisdom, knowledge, power, guidance, and healing from Allah God himself. When he knocks, it is at the door of the mind and the heart. He knocks by calling you to a word. This is why the scriptures teach, he that hath an ear, let him hear. If you would open the door by opening your ears and heart to the word of truth, he would come and sup or dine with you, meaning you and he would eat the same food and become part of one another. Open your ears, open your heart, and I'll come into you. And as I come into you, your demons will come out of you until you are full of me," end quote. The key to this verse and to the explanation given by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the key to ultimately bettering our lives is the decision we have. The verse says that we must open the door. Well, if someone is knocking on our door, how do we reap the benefits of what's on the other end? We have to open the door. We have to be the ones to take that step, to make the decision, to change in order to see the benefits of letting God enter into us. The minister stated within the previous quote, he said, "Christ has the mind and the spirit of Allah God. Can Allah God dwell in a dirty place? The house he comes to and the door he knocks on is the consciousness of a people. Would he enter into and stay in a filthy place? No, he is too self-respecting," end quote. So once we open the door and invite God in, are we prepared for him to enter into us? If I said to you, God himself wants to come to your house right now, would you be prepared to receive him? So let us all think of ways in which we can clean our physical house, our bodies, so we can allow God to dwell in it. Now, when we hear dwell, this means to live, to remain for a certain amount of time. We want God and his word to dwell and not solely visit or stop by. We want to make changes in our lives that make it to where God is permanently residing in who we are, present in how we live and what we allow to come into our bodies, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual foods. How can we clean our mental and work towards cultivating a space where God can dwell? The minister stated, quote, "The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the brain cells of the original people are constructed to think right. To think right means to think in accordance with truth and actual facts. If we are created to think right, we are also created to do right. And any act we participate in that is contrary to right thinking and acting creates an unwanted burden on our mind," end quote. The minister said the burden of sin covers the intellect, veils the vision, and impairs the power of the mind to do the wonderful things Allah God created the mind to do. It is said that we use only a small portion of our brain. Why? Could it be that sin impairs our ability to use the full power of our mind? Let us take the time to clean our physical homes. Let's make the decision to open our doors and allow God to not just visit, but dwell in our minds and our hearts. Let's open our ears, ready to receive the word of God and the word of truth. And all praise is due to Allah, this word of truth we have here today, and the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. All praise is due to Allah. Please receive our keynote presenter who will share these divine teachings with us today. Please receive Student Minister Daniel Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. He is the revealer of all truths, the giver of all life, and the sender of all prophets. We thank him for Moses and the Torah. We thank him for Jesus and the Gospels. We thank him for Prophet Muhammad and the Holy Quran. Peace be upon these worthy servants of Allah. I am a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I could never thank Allah enough for his merciful intervention in our affairs in the person of Master W. Fard Muhammad. We thank God for his coming, and we thank him for making the wise choice and choosing one from among us in the most honorable Elijah Muhammad to be his messenger and a guide for black people, but ultimately a guide for the whole of humanity. And we thank the two of them for a man who is the embodiment of the spirit of truth. He is a divine leader, a divine teacher, a divine guide, and a warner to America and the nations of the earth, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It is in their names that we greet you once again in the greeting words of peace. We say it in our original tongue of Arabic, the language of our ancestors. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, we have a lot that we would like to discuss with you and share with you this morning. So we don't want to waste any time. We want to get straight into our subject matter. Our topic this morning is human versus beyond human, the ultimate aim of Satan. The inspiration for this talk came from a powerful lecture series given by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in 2013 called The Time and What Must Be Done. This lecture series was a total of 58 episodes spanning over the course of a little bit over a year. And when I tell you that in this lecture series, the minister went bananas, I am telling you that he took off like I have never heard him take off before. He taught so hard and gave so much information that I encourage us to go back and rewatch and restudy what he gave, and you will see for yourself that we have truly been blessed with a man of God who is far ahead of his time, because everything that he shared in the time of what must be done 13 years ago is right in our face today. He covered a wide array of topics, from history to biology, from religion to UFOs, from domestic issues to foreign policy. You name it, the minister taught on it. So the inspiration for today's topic comes from part 39 of The Time and What Must Be Done, where his focus was why the transgenic seed and the natural seed cannot coexist. We live in a world where in our grocery stores, there is a designated section for organic food. And the organic section is one of the smallest sections, which tells us that the vast majority of what is available to us in the supermarket is not organic, which means that most of it is what they call, in scientific terms, GMO. Who's familiar with that term, GMO? Praise be to Allah. They also say GMO stands for genetically modified organisms. But sometimes the enemy can put something directly in our face, and because they said it with a smile, you didn't even question what they were really saying. When we look at that term modified, what does it mean to modify something? Modify means to change somewhat the form or qualities of, to alter partially or amend. It means to reduce or lessen in degree or extent, moderate or soften. So to modify something means to change or to amend something. Are y'all with me? And then the first word was genetically modified organism. What is genetics? The root word of genetic is gene. And a gene is the basic physical unity of heredity. It's gonna get a little scientific, but bear with me, y'all know I'm gonna break it down. I ain't gonna leave y'all out there. It is a linear sequence of nucleotides along a segment of DNA that provides the coded instructions for synthesis of RNA, which when translated into protein leads to the expression of hereditary characteristics. Everybody got that? Of course you don't. Y'all just saying, yeah, I'm about to break it down. Our bodies are made up of trillions of cells. Are y'all following me? And the cell evolves into what is called the nucleus. Inside of our nucleus is where our chromosomes are located. Does everybody remember chromosomes from science class? That's what determines whether or not you're a boy or you're a girl, depending on what type of chromosomes you were given. But inside of the nucleus where these chromosomes are located, these chromosomes package and store our genetic, there's that word again, genetic information. It is the genetic information that makes my head be shaped in this weird shape like my father. It is genetic information that has my nose and my cheekbones looking like my mother's nose and her cheekbones. It is the genetic information that produced a chocolate baby, which is a combination of both my mother and my father's skin tone. Y'all following me? So when you say you want to take those genetics and you want to alter or modify them, what are you really saying? Think about this. When the minister shared words at the memorial of our great artist and brother Nipsey Hussle, listen to what he said at Nipsey Hussle's memorial. The minister said, you are a direct descendant of God himself. I could tell by how the response, they didn't really catch that. I'm gonna say that one more time, Brother Trevor. The minister said, you are a direct descendant of God himself. So each time you look at yourself in the mirror, you're looking at a part of God. And when I look at you, the minister talking, he said, I see who? God. See, as black people and as the original people of our planet, we are organic life forms. We are natural and native to this planet. And believe it or not, we are natural and native to the entire universe. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that the black man and the black woman are the direct descendants of God himself biologically. I know y'all was thinking spiritual. That's true too, but biologically. So that means that our bloodline, our DNA, our genetics is directly connected to Allah himself, the originator of the heavens and the earth. Are y'all following me? All praises are due to Allah. So to modify or alter our genes as original people is to disconnect us from our connection to the source himself, which is Allah God. So it's just like when we get behind on our ComEd bill or with whatever energy supplier is in your city. And because that bill is past due, they sever our connection to the grid or the power supply. And although we may have great tools in our homes, we may have toasters and refrigerators and Wi-Fi boxes and PS5s and televisions and lights, but because we've been disconnected, none of those tools are of any benefit or use because the power supply is not connected to us. Are y'all following me? If we look at the condition of the black man and woman in America, if we look at the condition of the original people around the planet Earth, because we have been disconnected from our power supply, which is Allah and his universe, The tools that we once had to our benefit are no longer online, and they're no longer functioning. So our ability to envision and bring into reality what we envision has been cut off. Our desire to be productive and build a new world for our women and our children, that connection has been severed. Our connection to nature and having an interdependent relationship with Allah's creation has been removed. Our ability to communicate with one another from mind to mind, or what they call telepathically, has been cut short. So the scriptures refer to us as the blind, the deaf, and the dumb. Why? Because our connection to the source is constantly being interrupted and cut off. So although we're looking with these eyes, we can't see correctly. Although we're trying to hear, we're not listening with the wisdom of God. And although our lips are moving and sound is coming forth, we cannot speak because we are not speaking the language of civilized people, of righteous people who are embodied under the knowledge and the will of Allah. So our minds in this human body is a tool that is currently offline. Are y'all following me? And it is a great tool that could begin to benefit us once again, but we have to reconnect and plug back in to the God who is the source of our power and our strength. So this transgenic seed and these genetically modified organisms are actually operating on several different levels. There are physical effects and consequences, there are spiritual effects and consequences, and there are mental effects and consequences. But what we need to understand is that at the root of this new technology, it is the idea of editing or changing what God has made. According to the scriptures of both the Bible and the Holy Quran, when it talks about Satan, it describes Satan in both of these books as a usurper. Has anyone ever heard of that word before, usurper? Can I see that by a show of hands? Okay, some have, some have not. A usurper is someone who seizes and holds a position of power, office, or rights by force or without legal authority. Did y'all catch that? So a usurper is one who's exercising influence as if they calling shots, but in reality, they're not even the shot caller. That's what Satan is. He acts as if he is God, but he's not God. He's the God of this world, but he's not God, the supreme being. Now y'all following me? He's a usurper. So the Bible in the book of Isaiah chapter 14, verses 13 and 14, listen to what it says. It's talking about Satan, the usurper. It says, "For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation, on the farthest sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." When you hear those words coming from Satan, the only word that should pop into your mind is arrogant. See, Satan has a mindset where he wants to be the equal of God. So he usurps, he takes liberties, he exercises influence and control over things that are not rightfully his. So as the Quran puts it, Satan makes mischief with the created things. Notice he didn't create the thing, He takes the created thing, which is what Allah made, and he makes mischief with what Allah created. So Satan's whole world is based upon genetic manipulation. Satan's whole world is based upon not true intelligence, but artificial intelligence. Satan's world is a synthetic version of what Allah has naturally placed inside of his creation and inside of his universe. So when God gives to humanity an orange, and we take the orange, which was naturally given to us in his creation, and we squeeze the orange and put it in the glass, and we refresh ourselves and drink some orange juice. See, that's what Allah made. But if you give me some orange drink with orange 12 and red 40 and 13 different types of processed sugars. See, God gives us orange drink, but God gives us orange juice, but Satan gives us orange drink. Are y'all following me? God gives us grapes. Satan gives you annihilators. I know they're delicious, but we got to be honest this morning. So his whole world is built upon manipulations, synthetics, artificial intelligence. So the real title, tell me when y'all ready. The real title for today's conversation was going to be the human versus, and please let me explain it before you gasp, the transhuman. But because we live in a world that is sensitive, we had to consider what thought came into people's mind when we said transhuman. So for sake of safety, we said, let's go with human versus beyond human. You start the lecture and then you explain where you headed so that the people have a base for what you want to discuss. So this prefix trans in transhuman is very similar to the term modified in genetically modified organisms. The prefix trans comes from the Latin, and in Latin it means across, or beyond, or through, or on the other side of. Are y'all following me? So when the term transhuman is used, it is inferring that it is beyond the normal or regular human. Are y'all following me? Can we see by a show of hands real quick who has heard of the term transhuman? Okay, just like we thought. A few.